I was standing in the bathroom at work, door locked, lights on, just staring at my own face in the mirror.
What happened?
Nothing. That's the thing. Nothing happened. No bad news, no argument, no crisis. I just suddenly felt heavy. Like someone had put a weight on my chest and I didn't know how to take it off.
How long were you standing there?
Maybe 10 minutes, maybe longer. I lost track. And the worst part, I couldn't explain it. Not to anyone, because I didn't have the words.
In English.
In any language, but especially in English. Because in English, all I knew was happy, sad, tired, 3 words, and none of them were right.
None of them were big enough.
None of them were even close. And that gap, not having the words, made everything feel bigger and lonelier than it needed to be.
I know that feeling.
Most people do. They just don't have the language to say so.
Which is exactly why we're here today.
Welcome to Noka Daily English. I'm Noka, and the story I just told you, that's real. That happened to me about 2 years ago.
And I'm Leo. Today's topic is one of the most human topics we've covered, talking about feelings in English.
And I know what you might be thinking, feelings. That's simple, happy, sad, angry. I know those words.
But real emotional conversations go so much deeper than that. There are feelings that don't translate easily. Feelings that are layered and complicated and hard to name even in your first language.
And today, we're going to give you the language for those feelings, the real ones, the messy ones, the ones you currently say fine for even when you're not fine at all.
We're also going to share real stories because feelings make the most sense when they come with a story.
And one more thing, this episode might get a little personal. We hope that's okay.
It definitely is. Let's go. So Noka, continuing your bathroom story, after you stood there for 10 minutes, what did you do?
I washed my face, took a breath, and went back to my desk like nothing happened.
The classic.
The classic, because I didn't know what else to do. When someone asked how I was doing, I said fine. When a colleague noticed I was quiet, I said just tired.
Small words for a big feeling.
Very small words. And I think this is something a lot of English learners experience, not because they're not smart or not fluent, but because emotional vocabulary is just not taught in school.
Exactly. In school you learn, I am happy, she is sad, he is angry, very basic, very functional.
But nobody teaches you how to say I feel this low-level dread that I can't explain, or I'm going through the motions but I don't feel present, or I feel strangely empty even though nothing is wrong.
Those are real feelings that people have every single day.
Every day. And in your first language, you might have words for them, or at least you can feel your way around them. In English, you freeze.
And when you freeze, you default. I'm fine, not bad, pretty good, words that say nothing.
And here's the thing, even native English speakers do this. The how are you fine, thanks exchange is almost automatic. It's a greeting, not a real question.
So there are actually 2 separate problems. Number 1, not having the vocabulary. Number 2, not being practiced at using it, even when you do have the words.
And the second problem is often harder than the first. Because you can know all the vocabulary in the world and still freeze when someone looks you in the eyes and says, how are you really?
So today we're addressing both words and practice.
Okay, Leo, your turn to share. Tell us your story.
But before my story, I want to ask you something, Noka. After that bathroom moment, after you went back to your desk and said fine to everyone, how long did that go on?
Honestly, months, a long time. And the thing is, the longer you say fine when you're not fine, the harder it gets to say anything else. It becomes automatic. Your mouth just produces the word without even thinking.
Like a reflex.
Exactly like a reflex. And then one day a colleague, someone I didn't even know very well, stopped me in the hallway and said, you look tired. Not just today, for a while. Are you taking care of yourself? And I just stood there. Because nobody had asked me that in months.
What did you say?
I said, yeah, I'm fine, just busy. Because even then, even when someone opened the door, I didn't walk through it. I wasn't ready yet.
That's such an honest thing to admit. Sometimes, even when people ask, you're not ready to answer.
And that's okay too. Readiness matters. You can't force someone to open up, including yourself. But what that colleague did, just noticing, just asking, planted something. A week later, I finally looked up Burnt Out in English and read about it for the first time. And I cried because someone had written down exactly how I felt. In words I didn't have.
Words somebody else had found first, and they left them there for you to find.
That's what language does. It carries experience across time and distance. Someone felt something, found the word, wrote it down, and years later you find it and feel less alone.
That might be the most beautiful thing about vocabulary. Okay, so my story is about a specific year in my life. I call it my silent year. Not because I didn't speak, but because I never said what was real.
Tell us what happened.
I was 26. I moved to a new city for a job. Left everything, friends, family, every familiar face. Completely fresh start.
That must have felt exciting.
It did at first. A new apartment, new colleagues, new city to explore. I felt independent, like I was building something important.
And then,
About 4 months in, the excitement wore off. And I realized something. I had nobody to call. Not because people didn't exist, but because I hadn't built those real connections yet. The colleagues were friendly, but they weren't friends. And every evening I'd go home to silence.
that kind of silence hits differently.
It does. There are two kinds of silence. Peaceful silence, the kind you choose that feels like a warm blanket, and lonely silence, the kind that feels like an empty room. I had the second kind, every night.
Did you tell anyone?
No, that's the thing. My mom would call and ask how I was doing, and I'd say, great, loving the new city. My best friend would text, I'd send back happy emoji. Nobody knew, because I didn't want them to know.
Why not?
Pride. I'd made this big decision to move. People were proud of me. I didn't want to call my mom and say, I think I made a mistake. I'm lonely and I don't know what to do. That felt like failure.
So you kept it all in.
For almost a full year. And here's what I learned about keeping feelings in. They don't go away. They just grow in the dark.
Grow in the dark. Say more about that.
When you name something, when you say it out loud, it shrinks a little. You realize it's survivable. Other people have felt it. There's a word for it. But when you keep it in the dark, it gets bigger and bigger until it feels completely unmanageable.
Like a small plant you ignore, accept its growing roots into everything.
Exactly. And I got to a point where I was just going through the motions every day. Wake up, work, come home, sleep, not feeling much of anything, just numb.
Death at Numb sounds exhausting in its own way. Fall text.
It is, because you're not sad exactly. You're just flat, like someone turned the volume all the way down on your life.
What finally changed?
One night I called my best friend. We hadn't really talked properly in months. He picked up and just said, Leo, hey, you okay? You've been kind of quiet lately. And something about that, just being noticed, I completely broke down.
You weren't expecting it.
I wasn't expecting it at all. I'd been holding everything together so tightly for so long, and suddenly it all came out. I told him everything. The loneliness, the silence, the pretending, the numbness, all of it.
What did he say?
He was quiet for a moment. Then he said, Leo, I'm really glad you told me. I had no idea. Can I come visit next weekend? And he did. He got on a train and came.
He just showed up.
He just showed up, and having one person there, one person who knew the real version of things, changed everything. Not because he fixed anything, but because I'd been heard.
You didn't need advice. You needed to be witnessed.
That's the perfect word. Witnessed. Someone saw the real thing and didn't run away, and somehow that made it smaller.
Both of our stories come back to the same moment. Naming the feeling, saying it out loud, being heard.
And today, we want to give you the language to do exactly that.
Okay, let's start with the good stuff, because emotions aren't only the hard, heavy ones. English has such rich vocabulary for positive feelings too.
way beyond just happy. Let's explore them with examples.
First, relieved. That moment when something you were worried about is finally over. I'm so relieved the exam is done. It's like a weight lifting off your chest.
And related, at ease. A quieter version of relieved. When you stop bracing for something bad. I feel more at ease now that we've talked.
Then there's content. This one is underrated. Happy is big and bright fireworks. Content is quiet and warm candlelight. I'm just sitting here with my coffee and I feel content. Nothing spectacular. Everything is enough.
I love that distinction. Content is actually a deeper feeling than happiness in some ways.
Because happiness can be fleeting, content is a kind of settled peace. And speaking of peace, at peace. I've finally made the decision and I feel at peace with it. No inner conflict, no second guessing.
Then there's moved. This is one of my favorites. I was really moved by that. It means something touched you deeply. A song, a story, a kind gesture from a stranger.
Moved to tears, meaning so touched you almost cried, in a beautiful way. The ending of that movie moved me to tears.
And grateful. Not just saying thank you, feeling it in your body. I feel so deeply grateful for the people in my life. A warm, full feeling.
What about excited versus thrilled? There's a difference in intensity.
Right. Excited is everyday level. I'm excited about the weekend. Thrilled is bigger, more intense. I was absolutely thrilled when I got the news. Like excitement amplified.
And then hopeful, my personal favorite. You're not sure things will work out, but you believe they might. It's a forward-looking feeling. I feel hopeful about what's coming.
Hope is brave because it means choosing to believe in something you can't control.
Beautiful. Okay, so positive feelings, relieved, at ease, content, at peace, moved, grateful, excited, thrilled, hopeful. Now the harder ones.
Difficult feelings. These are the ones people really struggle to express, especially in English.
Let's start with one of the most common in modern life, overwhelmed, too much coming at you at once. Emotionally, mentally, physically, beyond what you can process.
And there's an important difference between overwhelmed and stressed. Stressed is about pressure, deadlines, expectations. Overwhelmed is when you've gone past stressed, when it's too much to even think about.
Like when you have 50 tasks and instead of doing any of them, you just sit there frozen.
Exactly that. Then there's anxious, worried and uneasy, usually about something uncertain or in the future. I've been feeling really anxious about the interview. It's often the what if feeling.
And related, on edge, tense, jumpy, like you're waiting for something to go wrong. I've been on edge all week and I don't even know why. The anxiety without a specific cause.
Then down, not deeply sad, just low. A gentle word for a gentle dip. I've been feeling a bit down lately. Easy to say, doesn't dramatize.
And off, even simpler. I feel a little off today. Something isn't quite right, but you can't pinpoint it. Like your internal compass is slightly out of alignment.
These smaller words, down, off, are actually really valuable because they're honest without being overwhelming to share.
Now the heavier ones, burnt out. We talked about this in my story. Not just tired, depleted, empty, when even rest doesn't feel restorative. When you've been running on empty so long that you have nothing left.
Burnout is serious. It's not, I had a hard week. It's, I've been giving everything for months and there's nothing left to give.
And numb, like I described in Leo's story. Not sad, not happy, just flat. The volume turned all the way down. Sometimes this happens after too much stress, or after loss, or after a very long period of holding everything in.
Numbness can actually be protective. Your brain sometimes does it to give you a break from feeling too much.
Good to know. And finally, lonely, not the same as being alone. You can be surrounded by people and feel lonely. It's about disconnection, not being seen, not being known.
Like my silent year, full of people at work, empty inside.
I've been feeling really lonely lately. That's one of the bravest sentences a person can say. Because it makes you vulnerable, and vulnerability takes real courage.
Okay, Let's talk about what you can actually do with these feelings, the technique.
Okay, this is the most important concept in today's episode. And it comes from neuroscience, the study of the brain.
When you feel a strong emotion, the emotional center of your brain becomes very active. It can feel chaotic, out of control, like when you're anxious and your heart is racing and your thoughts won't stop spinning.
But here's what's fascinating. When you put a name to that emotion, when you say out loud or even just think I'm feeling anxious right now, the language part of your brain activates.
And that language activation actually calms down the emotional center. The feeling doesn't disappear, but it becomes smaller, more manageable, less like a storm and more like rain.
So naming the emotion literally changes what's happening inside your brain. Scientists call this effect labeling, but the simple version is name it to tame it.
And this is why journaling helps, why therapy helps, why talking to a friend helps. Because putting language to your experience, whether written or spoken, changes your relationship to it.
This is also why having emotional vocabulary matters so much for English learners specifically. It's not just about communication with others. It's about understanding your own inner world.
Even just saying to yourself quietly, I notice I'm feeling overwhelmed right now, can create that calming effect. You don't need to say it to someone else.
So the practice is this. A few times a day, pause and ask yourself, what am I actually feeling right now? Not fine, not okay. Try to name it. Even if you have to say I feel something between anxious and excited and I'm not sure which.
The attempt to name it is the practice. You don't need the perfect word. You just need to try.
And over time, your vocabulary expands and your ability to understand yourself expands with it.
This might be the most useful thing we've ever talked about on this podcast.
I think so too. Okay, one more section before roleplay. How do you check in on someone else?
So we've talked about how to express your feelings, but what about when you want to ask about someone else's feelings?
This is so important because sometimes the most powerful thing you can do for someone is just ask the right question at the right time.
Like my friend asking, you okay? Like actually okay? That one question unlocked everything.
So what are some ways to ask? First, the standard how are you is usually not enough. It's automatic. People answer automatically.
Instead, try adding a word. How are you really doing? That word really signals, I actually want to know. I'm not just being polite.
Or be specific. You seem a little quiet today. Is everything okay? You've noticed something. You're paying attention. That matters.
Or I've been thinking about you lately. How are things going? That shows you've been carrying them in your thoughts even when they weren't there.
And then, when they answer, don't rush to fix it. Don't immediately give advice or solutions. Just listen first.
Most powerful responses are often the simplest ones. That makes sense. I can understand why you'd feel that way. I'm really glad you told me.
I'm here and I'm not going anywhere. That might be the most comforting sentence in the English language.
Because it says, you don't have to perform for me. You don't have to be okay. I'm staying regardless.
And what if someone says, I'm fine, but you know they're not?
You can gently say, okay, but if you ever want to talk, I'm here. And then leave it. Plant the seed, don't push. Let them come when they're ready.
Because being pushed before you're ready can make you close off even more.
Right. Presence without pressure. That's the gift.
Presence without pressure. I love that.
One more thing about checking in on someone, timing matters. Don't do it when you're distracted, when you have one eye on your phone, when you're about to rush off somewhere. Do it when you can actually be present.
Because people can feel when you're half there. And if you ask, are you okay? While already looking at the door, the message you send is, I asked, but I don't really have time for the answer.
Right. The quality of your attention matters as much as the question itself.
And sometimes you don't even need words. Sitting next to someone in silence, making them a cup of tea. Sending a message that just is thinking of you today. These are all ways of saying, I see you. You matter.
Emotional support doesn't always require a big conversation. Sometimes it's just consistent small gestures over time.
And those small gestures, in English, you can say I've been thinking about you, or I just wanted to check in, Or even simply, I'm here. 2 words, enormous meaning.
I'm here. Sometimes that's everything.
Okay, quick question. And I want everyone to actually answer this. Right now, in the comments.
Just one word, that's all.
Comment 1 word that describes how you're feeling today. Just 1 word. It can be in English. It can be in your language. It can be an emoji, anything. Just name it.
We'll read every single one, and if you write a feeling in your own language that you can't express in English, we'll try to give you the English word for it.
We're going to make that a regular section, Listener Feelings, where we answer your words in episode 4.
So comment now. What's 1 word for how you feel today?
And if today's episode resonated, if you related to the bathroom moment or the silent year, please share it with someone. Not for views, because someone in your life might need to hear that it's okay to feel things. That there are words for how they feel, that they're not alone.
That's really what this is about, not just English. Connection through English.
Beautiful. Okay, role plays. 3 situations, real emotional conversations. Try saying my lines out loud with me. That's the practice.
Situation 1. A close friend asks how you're really doing. As friend, hey, you seem a bit off lately. Are you okay? Like, actually okay?
Response honestly, not totally. I've been feeling kind of overwhelmed lately, like everything is coming at me at once and I can't quite catch up. I'm not sure I can fully explain it, but I've just been feeling a little heavy.
As good friend, that makes sense. That sounds really tiring. I'm here if you want to talk, no pressure.
Notice what he said. That makes sense. Not you shouldn't feel that way. Not just think positive. Just, that makes sense. Those 3 words can change everything.
Situation 2. You notice a colleague seems off.
Checking in, hey, you seem a little on edge today. Everything all right?
As colleague, yeah, a bit. It's just been a lot this week. I feel like I'm spread really thin and I can't quite catch my breath.
Response, I hear you. That's a tough place to be. Let me know if there's anything I can take off your plate, even something small.
She offered concrete help, not just let me know if you need anything, which is too vague, but something specific, even something small. That's actionable.
Situation 3. Someone checks in on you and you actually tell the truth.
As someone checking in, I've been thinking about you. How are you doing, really?
Honest response, honestly, ... I've been feeling kind of numb lately. Like I'm going through the motions, but not really feeling present. It's hard to explain. I don't even know if numb is the right word. It's more like the volume has been turned down on everything.
Response, I'm really glad you told me that. I won't pretend I know exactly what to say, but I'm here, and I'm not going anywhere.
And listeners, did you notice something across all 3 situations? Nobody fixed anything. Nobody said don't worry or it'll be fine, or at least you have ... that they just listened. They named what they heard, and they stayed.
That's the hardest part for a lot of people. The instinct when someone is in pain is to want to fix it, to make it better, to say something that takes the hurt away.
But most of the time, you can't take it away. And trying to can actually make the person feel unheard, like their pain is inconvenient.
So instead of fixing, reflect. Say back what you heard. That sounds really hard. That makes total sense. I can see why you'd feel that way.
These phrases are simple, but they do something powerful. They validate. They tell the person, your feelings are real. They make sense. You are not overreacting.
And sometimes that validation is the thing that finally lets someone breathe.
I'm not going anywhere. Write that down. Use it. It costs nothing to say, and it means everything to hear.
Okay, vocab time.